I set it for horizontal orientation, and it started vertical, and once you start the stream, you can't change it. It's foiled me several times, and I've said I'm never again going live on YouTube unless it's through StreamYard. But here we are. I hope people can find the video. The reason I'm going live, this arrived today. This is the, yeah, right, wreck ship. I hate technology. It's the worst. And also, I can't do any, like, I can't zoom out because this box is massive. Wreck ship, share this on the socials so people see the actual address and everything. Yeah, I know, right? All right, so anyway, this thing is gigantic. And while we're waiting for people to maybe find this one from the other one, I'm going to set this to the side because this being live, we've got some other Joe business I want to talk about real quick. First up, my replacement. If you watched my review of Law and Order, my replacement Law and Order is here, and his knees are correctly colored. No discoloration on the other one. That left knee was like brown. It was bizarre. And I'm not a big fan of the brown knee. But these knees both look good. So I'm in good shape. I'm just going to open it up. Not now. I'm going to open it up later. Make sure the rest of the accessories and stuff are all good. And I'll be good to go. And then the other Joe thing that I wanted to mention real quick. So I got these. I talked about them on the show the other night. I love this. The card back on this is fantastic, except they messed up because, like, the whole point of this is it's die cut. There's been damage to the card, right? Unfortunately, what they did is they made it bigger than a standard size card. You can see how it's overlapping there. And I was going to put it in a protector because it's so great, but it doesn't fit in a protector. So that's really annoying. So rather than subtracting from a regular card size, they added to it to create the damage. It's still beautiful, but now I'm like, how do I display it? Because I don't want to just hang it up like that, especially unpunched. All right, so I think that's all. Yeah, that's all the Joe business I had. So let's get to it and take a look at the gigantic Cold Slither box set. I didn't expect it to be this big. Lots of Easter eggs. Just sitting here waiting to start the video. We know about most of these already, if not all of them. But I love the fact they've got the Gem poster over here. On the other side, the Misfits poster, and I'm going to assume Misfits is torn out because they can't use Misfits, or at least didn't want to mess with the copyright. But you want to know something crazy? Guess what today's date is? How wild is that? And we've got Winkin was here, which is, who's that? Buzzer, right? Isn't that one of the Dreadnoks? The Viper is coming, is spray painted over there. Got all the stickers down in the window. Got Iron Grenadiers, Dreadnoks, Joe sticker, Cobra sticker on top of it, Destro, Red Rocket drive-through over here. Like, this is the most Easter egg laden thing I think I've ever seen. Let's see, I can't show you the side. Well, yeah, I can a little bit. The Average Joe's band. Then the back, we've seen most of this stuff, but as I've said over and over again, when I know I'm going to buy something, I don't, and by the way, I'm opening it now. When I know I'm going to buy something, I don't pay that much attention to the online pictures because I want to have this experience, not the, oh, I saw a picture of something online experience. All right, there's our belt, cardboard belt, whatever. Monkey wrench, who we know is coming soon. Always like to see macaque. Stuff all over the dumpster. Oh, this is this maybe supposed to be one of the rats from... All right, tell me in the comments. It's not one of the rats from, what is it, Into Your Tent I Will Silently Creep. But it's familiar. got Zartan. Oh, I can't quite raise it enough. Zartan's mask is over here. Anyway, that's enough. Once you get it, you'll see everything. Maybe I should take some pictures and put them up on our socials. That might be a good plan. Top of the building. A lot of work went into this box. I really appreciate it, even though I'm going to throw it in the trash. And then we open it up. I got to get my light out of the way. There we go. And as we've seen, everybody is posed nicely. Let's see. We'll detach. We'll separate the saucer section. So the box is really just beautifully laid out. I mean, this could very easily just be on a shelf like this. As a matter of fact, I had a Cantina band set that came in a really nice box that I just left on the shelf in the box. But these guys have got to come out because what is this? This is an unboxing and review. All right. So let's get down to business. Figure out how difficult this is going to be to open. All right, I don't think it matters which way I take things out. Has anybody else gotten theirs yet? I saw a comment. I think RecShip said DHL is delivering yours, which is unfortunate. A travesty, if you will. Yeah, FedEx. I was delighted to see FedEx was bringing mine. Oh, man, we've got set lists. I don't have quite enough room, but look at this. We've got set lists taped to the stage. That's fantastic. Yeah, so they shipped mine on Friday. I'm also a sucker for a drum kit. One of my favorite toy releases ever is the that Metallica set. Fell off. So yeah, there are your set lists. That's a nice touch. All right, very good. And at the very least, you can keep this part on your shelf as a backdrop. That's a great looking Cobra. That is just gonna have to go on the floor for now because I got nowhere else to go. Set these pieces to the side. And let's try and get these out. So this is a set, I talked about it a lot on Audible Interlude, G.I. Joe podcast, available every Friday wherever you get your podcasts. I've talked about this a lot, where this set is definitely a separate thing from Classified to me. So there's like the side. So everybody has their own set list. That's a great touch. This is going to go on its own shelf. This is not going to be mixed in with my Classified stuff. It might even go on some kind of like 80s shelf or something. I'm actually packing up, as I've mentioned on the show, I'm packing up all my wrestling figures. So I'm a weekend, and I don't think I'm a third done. But I'm packing them all up, and Joe is going in that spot, and then other stuff is going in the Joe spot. And these, I mean, I'm just going to find, I don't know, I've got kind of a random Joe stuff shelf that I might fit these onto with Joe odds and ends that don't necessarily fit other places. All right, let's start getting stuff out of here. Drum kit. Pretty sturdy. Imagine how disappointing this would have been if they had just done like, cardboard drums as part of the packaging or something, which is, not, this is not a commentary on, oh, look at that. That's great. This is not a commentary on the Joe team or the classified team or anything like that. But my first thought when I saw they were doing this was, well, it'll probably just be cardboard drums that the figure's behind in the packaging. I really didn't expect a full drum kit. And I was wrong, because here it is. Let's see. I will say, not an overabundance of tabbies in this thing. Two more guitar straps over here. If this was a NECA product, there would be 8,000 of those plastic tabs in this packaging. And Zartan was held in by just one. The drum kit only had, what, two or three? Well done, Hasbro. And of course, those 2 or 3 are still going to end up all over the floor. Those are some yellow, tight pants right there. Although those legs, I look at those legs and I just see Snake Eyes version 2. I like how they used the articulation to get the nice pose out of him. Shirt looks great. Guitar looks great. Oh, man, we're going to take a closer look at all of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Zartan figure. I'm not going to mess with zooming in because it just doesn't work well on YouTube Live, but I seem to be getting a pretty good look at him. Portrait is great. This is a new Zartan portrait, I'm fairly certain. Love the hair. Still hoping Super 7 does just a regular cartoon style Zartan, but with the hood that looks like hair like it did in the show sometimes. I wouldn't have minded, because you know me, I prefer neutral expressions on my figures for the most part, but I wouldn't have minded him being a little more expressive, because again, this is a special set. This is something different. I would have been okay with that. Oh, he's got the same boots that we just saw on, Breaker. I think the new Breaker has those same boots, but they work here. They definitely work here as like rock and roll boots. I love his little vest and how it doesn't quite cover his belly. That seems appropriate. Does have the hole in the back for a backpack. I like that they carried that across. No reason not to put it on there. I'm trying to decide what's going on with his eyes. They're so... You guys, if you could see my workbench and how much stuff is on it that needs to be put away, I would be so ashamed right now. Let's take a closer look at those eyes, because I can't quite tell what we're looking at with them. And I still can't quite tell what we're looking at. Very interesting. I'll have to get a picture of those to get a closer look. Oh my gosh, the Howling Werewolf just fell over. Watch my review of that if you haven't. It's great. So yeah, there's Zartan. This is actually sculpted. The stitching on the front of his pants, or the laces, I guess, on the front of his pants, that's sculpted and painted. Multiple belts. Plastic feels good. Everything's moving nicely. He's great. He's great. All right, let's move on to... Well, Torch is just sitting there, so let's get Torch out. Torch, who has no plastic tabbies on him. Oh, wait, yeah, he does. He's got one on his arm right there. But is that the only one? How great Hasbro. Oh, and he does have a guitar strap. What those other ones are for. Oh, I didn't take a closer look at. Hang on, Zartan's guitar, uh, pretty solid. It's not rubbery. Like there's some flexibility to it, so it's not going to break. Which, let me tell you how many broken guitars I have. Um, Bill from Bill and Ted, broken neck. One of the Metallica guitars, broken neck. Like when you make these guitars out of plastic that's too rigid, they're gonna end up broken. If the figure falls over, they break. So I appreciate this plastic that has some flexibility, but is, as you can see, holding its shape. Looks great. The tempo on this is awesome. Reminds me of Surge Soda. Strings look good. Great looking guitar. And the strap is mobile. So it's not a piece of the guitar. So it does move around, have some flexibility. So the strap is not going to break either. Okay, now Torch. Also got a great vest on. Don't know if these are removable. They don't appear to be, and I am A-okay with that. This guy has ridiculous long hair. He's got the beard. May or may not be a new portrait. I am not sure. Like his spiked arm. Well, he's got one spiked armband and then one that's just like a leather strip. Got some tattoos going on. Let's see, what do we got here? We've got some kind of little horned monster thing. Claw tearing through the skin. And then this one is wild that they stuck this here. Like, why not just put it on the shoulder or whatever? This placement is very, very specific and interesting. It looks like it's a Reaper. I wonder if that's based on somebody specific. Again, tight pants, different crotch piece from Zartan. Even though they've both got the laces, this is a differently sculpted piece. Different boot. No, he's got the same boots on. But he does have the little bandanas on the top of them, which is so very 80s. I'm going to turn these so the tied part is on the side. I just like that a little more. Matter of fact, I might put one in the front and one on the side. I like the sash over here. Looks like he might be a little different skin tone. He is. Well, no, maybe not. I thought he might be a little darker. Yeah, I think he is. He's a little darker skin tone from Zartan. I appreciate that. So there's Torch. Torch looks great. Ready to rock. Yeah, you know what? That's a different portrait because look, he's got like pursed lips. He's making kind of a like Guitar Lord face. And then there is Torch's guitar. Also flexible but solid material. Beautiful deco on this one. This looks incredible. And same deal with the strap. It's a separate piece. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, weird. Okay, wait. So I've been wrong this whole time. This is Ripper. This is Torch. I didn't notice that I just didn't even think about him having a brown beard instead of a black beard. Wreckship, where have you been for the past like 6 minutes? But why isn't his beard black? I mean, obviously, I guess it was like that in the cartoon, but I never noticed it. All right, so here's Torch. Actually, no, I take it back. Here's Fred. I'm just going to keep calling him the wrong names because that's going to be really good for engagement. So here's Fred. Fred Knock is his name. With his guitar. Same boots again. Yeah, Wreckship, your comments are the most important thing about this video. Painted completely differently. So same tooling, but very different look. Again, same legs, but another different crotch piece with a Cold Slither belt buckle. It's got a very distinctive tank top in that red and yellow, very 80s looking. Yeah, Dreadnoks do have a boot sponsor. And look at this. All the way. No jack specific treatment here. The arrow's not just on the front. Goes all the way up the back and down. Headband looks great. Hair looks great. This might be my favorite Fred figure. Like the way they did the gloves here, too. I wonder if there's anybody else they could get use of these pieces out of. At least one of them, you might think. Somebody out there has a one spot. Is Kane? We need Kane and G.I. Joe. Get the mayor in on this. He'd probably be more of a Cobra. All the plastic feels pretty much the same on all of these, which makes sense. 4 figures, same set. They should have pretty much the same consistency. And then Fred's keytar. Again, beautiful with the flames on it that, should indicate some other name, but clearly he's just a Fred. So are those just 2 extra straps that were included? And then finally, the last of the Dreadnoks and many people's favorite, Herbert. Herbert the Dreadnok. All right. No plastic tabbies on this guy. We do have 2 drumsticks that are surprisingly thin. And only one rubber banded in his hand. They really just went crazy with this packaging. Again, the same boots, but with the fringe on top of them. That is a very strange look. Different crotch piece, same legs. Oh, I do want to compare the torsos also. Vest looks great with Cold Slither Tampo on the back. He's wearing a pearl necklace for some reason, and a different neckerchief than we've seen in other releases. That face is great. And let's get Herbert's glasses on him. These are a more rigid plastic than some of the other glasses we've gotten. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. They're the more rigid plastic like Sarge's glasses. They're not the rubbery plastic that came on the other version of Herbert. And they sit really well on the figure, right behind the ears. They look really goony, but he's kind of goony, so I'm okay with that. So let's do a little torso comparison. Everybody shares legs. From the hip down, these are the same aside from the kibble. I'm wondering if the torsos are pretty much the same too. Obviously, Fred's is different. Same arms. Torso looks the same. And there's no reason formerly Torch wouldn't have the same torso. So yeah, it looks like pretty much the same torsos, which is fine though, because they've covered them all up and decorated them all differently enough to where it really works. And it's not like any of these dreadnoks have different enough physiques for it to matter. All right, so Zartan, not Torch. I cannot wait for because people don't wait for the whole video to make comments. So as soon as I start incorrectly calling him Torch, because I haven't looked at this one yet, comments are just going to be rolling in, and I'll see those, Wreck Ship. And then Torch and Buzzer all look great, all sturdy plastic, move well. Let's take a look at the drum kit. That does break down into pieces somewhat. I would have liked a little more detail on the cymbals. I wonder if it would have been that big a deal to put some ridges on them, but also they're fine. Very interesting how all of this stuff pops apart like that. All right. Tempo on the front of the drums looks great. Kick. Pedal. I'm going to need a reference as to how to set these up. I haven't set up a drum kit in years. But I think something like that. No, because that's got to be there. Maybe that goes there. I don't know. I'll have to get a reference. I'm not a drummer. Yeah, they're a little... You might need to put a little something in his hands to get him to hold those properly. But I would rather that than big, giant, thick drumsticks. Yeah, right. Reverend Scott Stripling, who used to be in a band with me. And we used to, well, I say we used to practice in the back of a Schlotsky's, but really it's more like one time we practiced in the back of a Schlotsky's. That is a more accurate representation of what happened there. So yeah, probably stick just a little dab of blue tack on one of those drumsticks. Just want to get everything set up before I sign off. But I think I'm probably going to go with a good enough. Rexship, I didn't catch your whole comment. You said something about being nitpicky, but speaking of picky, I wouldn't have been mad if they had just sculpted guitar pick hands. I don't need trigger finger hands for these guys. I would have preferred just do one, sculpt one guitar pick hand and give it to all of them. I think you said something about microphones too, and yeah, or a mic stand would have been nice. Although I've got, not that this makes it okay, but I do happen to have a mic stand hanging around the workbench. But you should never have to resort to stealing from other toy lines. Oh, I put the wrong thing on this guy. You should never have to resort to stealing from other toy lines to complete an existing set. But I do believe if it had been in the budget, we'd have a mic stand, at least one. And I do think everybody was pretty happy with the price of this. Because if I remember correctly, speculation was that it was going to be around 150, considering the drum kit and whatever else. And then when it got announced at 125, I think people were pretty happy about that. Get him over here. So yeah, this is just two extra guitar straps for no specific reason, both with red connectors. Fine, good, I'll take it. Yeah, I do really wish Zartan. Uh, I wish Zartan had his mouth open like the Super 7 figure. But this is a great set. I'm very happy to have it. I was a little on the fence about getting it because it doesn't. For me, I want this stuff in Super 7. I don't really need Hasbro making this stuff, but it's such a special thing. It's so neat, it's so niche, and it speaks so much to a very specific moment in time in my childhood that, like I said, it gets its own little shelf separate from classified. This is, I said on the show, if classified didn't exist and they had offered this set, I would have bought it in a second without even thinking about it. Like, the for me, the only thing that gave me any pause was, well, this doesn't really go with classified, but that doesn't matter because it's its own thing. This set alone doesn't need anything else to go with it to make it a collection centerpiece. Uh, Put it on the shelf with that backdrop, and it's its own statement. It's its own thing. So, yeah, I had to have it. I'm going to keep it, and it is very, very well done. I think one of the neater sets that Hasbro has put out in a few years, and all the effort that went into the promotion, the concert, actually having a band produce an album, which I have not listened to the whole album yet. It's no secret that I haven't loved the songs that I've heard, but maybe, I don't always love everything first time out. So I'll listen to the whole album. I'll give it a chance. It deserves that for being G.I. Joe related. And we'll see what happens. But there you go. Cold Slither box set. Zartan, Herbert, Fred, and Willie. I can't say Willie Mack. That's a wrestler. He's just Willie. So anybody who expressed outrage over me misnaming this fellow whose beard, to my eyes, is not the right color, I do sincerely apologize. There you go. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about needless things, and just remember, Ripper, 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 Ripper.